Hi, again, I'm Mike Barenbach, and this is Francine Amari Faulkner.
Hi.
And we're here again to talk about this year's pledge drive, and we've got some exciting stuff to share. But first, we're going to talk about story night.
Yes, I wanted to squeeze in the opportunity to talk about Story Night, which is March 8th, Saturday night. Oh, you can't hear me? How about this? Okay, so Story Night, which is Saturday, March 8th, so it's 2 weeks from yesterday, is open to anybody. You don't have to be a member of UUCGL to participate. It's going to be a great night. It's basically like a moth night or a story slam, if you've ever heard of that. And another thing that we've got is we've got these 3 terrific raffle baskets put together by Loretta Connolly, Misha Gerson, and Chris Hansen that we're going to raffle off. $5. They're 3 different themes. They're beautiful. And if you can't make Story Night, next Sunday we'll have them at coffee hour, so you can buy raffle tickets. They're $5 if you want to. So you'll have an opportunity if you can't make Story Night. But I really hope you can, because it's going to be a blast. It's a fundraiser, and it should be really exciting. It's 18 and older, but there's childcare. So anybody who I hope you'll come, bring your friends, and let's have a great time. Okay, so last week Mike said our pledge drive is like the WGBH pledge drive.
Yeah, I did, and Francine had a great idea.
We're giving away, I'm like the promo person, right? We're giving away UUCGL tote bags to the first 40 pledges. We only have 40 of these bags, and it has our logo on it. But Mary King Galtieri was nice enough to print up a picture because we haven't got them delivered yet. But they're really nice. They're not like those chintzy tote bags. These are like the nice thick canvas ones, navy and white, and they're really nice. But unfortunately, we only could get 40. So first 40 pledges get the tote bags. So if you want a tote bag, get your pledge in. And Elizabeth in the office is keeping track of the first 40, so don't worry, you'll get one if, you know. Okay.
That's very exciting stuff. I think we can all agree tote bags are the best.
I'm excited about them. Last week, Mike spoke about all the great opportunities we have to connect here and to connect to each other as community.
I did, and I especially like the plant-based cooking group myself on Thursdays. I like that this place is a place where anyone can find community, a place of belonging and welcome. It's really special. After service, I was asked to explain a little bit about the endowment and why it needs to be supplemented with our pledges. You know, and I don't want to get into a bunch of math. It's a little complicated. But I'll say this, we need to use it in such a way as to preserve it for future years, to continue the legacy it represents. And we need to become a little less reliant on it.
So some people wonder how much to give on pledging. And we don't know, it's different for everyone. Personally, I do a monthly thing, so I budget it. But it's whatever you can do, and we hope you'll take it seriously and do a good amount.
What we do know is, looking at the numbers, is that not everybody has had a chance to pledge, and it's really important that we get those numbers up, that more groups of people do pledge. And like she said, any amount is helpful.
And we're especially asking people who've never pledged before to pledge. It's not something the church has worked real hard on in the last few years. We haven't really had a serious pledge drive, so we're really trying to make this part of how we all place and make sure it's here for all of us in the future.
So some have pledged, and we're grateful for that. And we are asking those with a pledging history to find a way to increase their pledge.
And as I just said, but Mike's got this script, so I have to say it again. We all want to sustain and grow our community for years to come. So that's why it's so important that we really do all make a pledge.
And the only way to do that is for all of us to pitch in.
And I wanted to say a special thanks to Mary King Galtieri for all she has done with helping us with getting the pledge boards printed and all her help in pulling a lot of the materials together for this pledge drive.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Breathe, said the wind.
How can I breathe at a time like this when the air is full of the smoke of burning tires, burning lives?
Just breathe, the wind insisted.
Easy for you to say if the weight of injustice is not wrapped around your throat, cutting off all air.
I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe.
Don't tell me to be calm when there are so many reasons to be angry, so much cause for despair.
I didn't say to be calm, said the wind. I said to breathe. We're going to need a lot of air to make this hurricane together.
I'm gonna keep on a-walking, keep on a-talking, marching up to freedom land.
Well, here I am following up after that incredible piece. And early on, I'm like, why are we sitting down? So I'm glad we stood up. I'm Martha Curry. I'm a long-time member of UUCGL. It's actually 25 years. You know, I joined when I was 10, maybe 20. And as a member of the social justice ministry team, I've been a part of the Essex County Community Organization, or as we refer to it, ECHO, for probably 15 years. And I'm actually now on my second or third year on the board. I could tell you a lot of stories and a lot of learnings, but I want to share just 3 things today. The first is I really appreciate ECHO providing a safe place to learn, make mistakes, and better understand racial justice and other issues. One aha moment I had is when we were working on racial justice training several years ago, pre-pandemic, and a young black woman shared her feelings. She said, I don't, and other black folks don't, want to take care of you as you learn about the impact of our lives under systemic racism. I want to be angry. I don't want to be consoling you. I reflected on that and continued to, which is why I share today. Secondly, being the introvert and homebody that I lean towards, I travel in small circles. I love that ECHO widened my circle, and I've gotten to know many folks from different walks of life, different ethnicities, and now call some of them friends. Thirdly, I've learned, or sort of, some organizing skills, and I truly believe in our power, and we cannot sit idly by as our democracy is being dismantled. It's hard. We can't do it alone. We need to take care of ourselves and be in community and be resilient and share our power together. On that note, I would like to introduce Colette Lima, an organizer at ECHO, who accepted my invitation to speak to us today.
Thank you so much, Martha, and good morning, everyone. As Martha said, my name is Colette. I am an organizer at ECHO. It's the last few days of Black History Month, and so I wanted to share a little bit about myself and the legacy of the Black organizing tradition that has meant so much to me in the trajectory of this nation. Music was not just a part of my life growing up, it was my lifeline. It wasn't something I simply listened to, it was the very rhythm of my being. I sang in the church choir, and in those moments I felt closest to my faith, to my power, and to the forces of justice that moved through us. Through harmony, the rhythm, the spirit, it was in those spaces that I understood what it meant to be grounded, to be centered, and to be unstoppable. But there's another story from my childhood that illuminates a deeper connection between music and resistance, between sound and strength. One day, when I was younger, I was sitting down on the bus when I was told by an older boy to go back to the bus where I belonged. Now, I don't know why he said this. I'm assuming because it was Black History Month, he probably learned about the bus boycotts and just thought it would be funny. The school I was attending at that point in my life was majority white, and I was the only Black student in the entire school. Because of this, I wasn't unfamiliar with the fact that I was different from my peers, nor was it the first time that I'd heard a negative comment or joke about my skin color. But I remember at that moment the sense of shame that I felt. I felt distinct from the other times because, unlike the other times, I was sitting alone. I felt uneasy about returning to the bus the next day. I didn't want to feel disempowered again. So I chose to participate in a ritual that helped me feel powerful. I grabbed my headphones, put on some music, and began to hum. I refused to let his words have power over me. I refused to give up my space. The music became my shield, my resistance. When I reflect on the role of music in my life, I am reminded of a powerful tradition that stretches far beyond me, the tradition of resistance, of liberation, and of resilience that has been created by generations of Black people in this country. Music, throughout our history, has been a weapon of resistance, a way to affirm our humanity when the world has tried to strip it away. Think of the spirituals. These songs, born from the agony of enslavement, were not just melodies. They were revolutionary acts. The spirituals were not about passive endurance, but about actively reclaiming power, about singing into being a world that was not yet here, but they believed was possible. For those enslaved, rituals were songs of liberation for the spirit, affirming their humanity despite being told that they were property, and connecting them to a vision of a future where they could be free. But these songs also spoke to rebellion and freedom from slavery in the physical world. The spiritual wade in the water instructed those escaping slavery to wade through water to throw off the scent of dogs tracking them. Follow the drinking gourd directed people to follow the Big Dipper constellation, which is referred to as the drinking gourd, to the north. And Go Down Moses tells the story of Moses leading the Israelites to freedom. It was a way of saying, you can resist too. The Lord is on your side. And it's through these spirituals that we can see the roots of the Black radical or Black organizing tradition. So, what is the Black organizing tradition? Cedric Robinson describes it as not just about reacting to oppression, it is a tradition of proactive resistance, one that imagines and builds new systems based on justice, self-determination, and communal care. It is rooted in a long history of collective resistance against racial capitalism, a system designed to dehumanize and exploit. Going back to the Underground Railroad, for example, it wasn't just about getting people from going from point A to point B. It was a radical vision of freedom that went far beyond the idea of escaping slavery. It was about building communities where liberation could be a shared reality. People of all races came together to help enslaved people escape, and many of those same people were abolitionists, fighting for liberation beyond the thousands of people they helped escape slavery. The Black organizing tradition doesn't just end with the abolition of slavery. Let's fast forward to the Civil Rights Movement, a movement that has forever shaped the trajectory of politics in this country and beyond. And it's here that we need to understand The civil rights movement was not simply about appealing to the morality of our oppressors. That was part of it, yes. But the heart of it was organizing. People used their relationships to build power and leverage it for real change through boycotts, sit-ins, protests, marches. They knew, just as we know now, that justice is not handed down. It is fought for. It is demanded. And that's the foundation of the Black radical tradition. Justice is won through organizing, through collective action, through love, through community care. The Black organizing tradition is still alive today. When we think of it, we think back to the massive marches and protests of the Black Lives Matter movement. But it's not just in the streets. It's in the quieter, everyday moments of resistance, the mutual aid networks, the community building efforts, the ways we protect one another when the system fails us. Although I was born and raised in the Northeast for most of my life, most of my family lives in the South. Our family has been in the South since our ancestors arrived there as slaves. And tracking our history is painful, but I feel a deep sense of pride in our legacy because we are survivors. Most of my family wound up in a small town in Louisiana called Winfield. For many years, Winfield was a vibrant community, but when industry left, many people lost their jobs, and the community began to wither. Those who couldn't afford to leave found themselves stuck with homes they couldn't sell, raising families in a town with dwindling resources. Drugs became a major issue, and young people had little to do, ended up either using or selling drugs in that community. But my uncle, who was a school bus driver, couldn't stand by and let that happen. After another summer of little programming went by, he knew the kids in his community needed something to do. So he called up a few people. All right, who can offer the kids a place to play? Who knows basketball and can teach? Who can cook? He brought these people together, and those people brought more people together, and in the end, they had enough resources to run an entire summer program for the kids in that community. And while I'm sure the grown-ups had a much more sophisticated name for it, me and the kids that attended it called it the gym. And since my cousins and I spent our summer staying at my grandma's house, we were able to be part of this mutual aid project. Now, I'm sure my uncle didn't use the term, but it was mutual aid. He brought folks together to share resources in order to uplift their own communities. And this was built through organizing, through relationships, care, and resilience. In these times, it is easy to lose hope. It feels like each time we turn on the news, we've lost another one of our rights. Social programs created to support equity are being cut as our country continues to be one of the most expensive to live in. Our public schools are under attack. Affirmative action, a policy that was won during the civil rights movement, is now gone. Programs that are associated with racial justice are being cut. Nonprofits are losing out on the essential grants needed to run. And an administration that constantly boasts about family values is actively separating families of our immigrant brothers and sisters. None of this has made groceries go down. None of this has made rent go down. It hasn't made salaries go up because the cruelty is the purpose. It can be hard to stay hopeful when it feels like the weight of the world is bearing down on us. But here's the truth. Hope is not a feeling. Hope is a discipline. It is a practice that demands we act even when we are exhausted. Hope does not just ask us to hold on, it calls on us to build, to work together, to protect one another, to create a better future even when we can't clearly see it in this moment. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." And that's a powerful quote. But here's the part that I think is sometimes missed. That arc does not bend on its own. It bends because we bend it. We have to bend it. We must will it into reality. And we can only do that through organizing, through action, through our community, and through love and faith. Oh yeah, I forgot to finish my bus story. So after getting on the bus with my headphones on, a friend sat down next to me and asked what I was listening to. I was nervous to take off my headphones, afraid the boy who was yelling before might say something now that my headphones were off. He could see that I was vulnerable. But I did it anyways. And so she ended up listening with me and joining with me singing, and then soon some of her friends joined with us. And then we started singing all silly songs together. Soon, our section of the bus was filled with laughter. And the boy who had been so cruel before, he dropped his act and didn't bother me again. And that's what it takes. It's not just one voice. It's a choir. Right now, the messages of hate and division are loud, and they're powerful. But we can't sing over them alone. It takes all of us. When we put our voices together, we can drown out the hate and build a future where every life matters, a future where justice is not a dream, but a reality. So the question before us today is the same question that faced the abolitionists, the freedom riders, the marchers on Selma. What will we do with this moment? Will we sit back and wait for someone else to fix it? Or will we rise together? Because the good news, the enduring truth, is that we are not alone in this struggle. We don't have to sing alone. We can use our voices to chant at a rally, to call our representatives, to boycott, to strike, to disrupt. Because we know each voice in that choir deserves to be free. The Black organizing tradition is rooted in love, the acknowledgement that every person deserves a life of dignity. So let's practice hope together, because it is our duty to fight and our destiny to win. Thank you.